And usually when I do these little chef videos, they're in my bus, but I'm going to try to make homemade prickly pear ice cream today, and my parents' kitchen is just going to be so much easier. Last week, my friend Emily and I harvested a bunch of wild prickly pear, and we made way more syrup than we needed. We made lemonade with it, but with the leftover, we want to try to make ice cream. She's leaving for her honeymoon tomorrow, so she's got a lot of stuff to do today. I'm going to try to make this early enough that I can bring some to her to try before she leaves in the morning. We just harvested wild prickly pears, and it took us so long to make this syrup. In the future, I would probably just buy it. It was not worth the stickers that we're still finding in our towels. But if you are interested in harvesting your own prickly pear, please look up a different video because I have no good advice. We did it all wrong. This is the recipe that I'm going to try to use today. I'll put it right here. And there's not a whole lot of ingredients. So I've got the prickly pear syrup. I've got sugar. I think I need lime juice, half and half, and heavy whipping cream. All right. Oh, and salt. I have been wanting to try harvesting wild prickly pears forever, and I'm just so excited that Emmeline brought it up. And so this has been a really fun little project. The lemonade turned out delicious. First, extract the prickly pear juice. Already done that and not interested in trying to do it again. Okay, heat the heavy cream, half and half, and sugar until the sugar is melted. 3/4 cup prickly pear juice, 1 tablespoon lime juice, 1/8 teaspoon salt, 1½ cups of half and half, 1½ cups of cream, and 3/4 cup sugar. I'm starting to wonder if I should double this recipe. Hi, Nikki. I accidentally picked a recipe that's not telling me anything about how to do this. It is, but it says to heat the cream and sugar mix on the stove until the sugar is melted. Does that mean boil it or don't boil it?
No, you don't have to have it boiling for the sugar to melt. If you boil it, the sugar's gonna start caramelizing and burning.
Mix well the prickly pear and lime juice. Mix well with the cream and sugar mix. Does that mean on the stove or off the stove?
I would do it off the stove, because once the sugar's dissolved, there's no reason for it to heat up anymore.
Okay, cool. Turns out the only thing I was missing from this recipe is a little bit of common sense, but it's okay because my brother's here. I need a pot big enough to boil it. All right, found a big boy.
You gotta let me know when it's done so I can try it.
I think we're good to move on to the next step.
I think it'd be a little sweeter.
You're right, it's not super sweet. Well, the prickly pear, I don't know, do you think it's gonna get stronger as it gets colder?
No.
I don't know how cooking works. Let me try it. He's tampering with my recipe. Add some of that in there. Okay, all right. My phone totally died. But anyway, it turns out that when I finished reading the recipe, I need an ice cream maker to make ice cream. Who would have thought? And I don't have one of those. The good news is it has to refrigerate for 4 hours before I can do anything. So I've got some time to figure something out. This looks like the only one here, and the box is a little beat up, but it's also only $13. So I'm gonna grab it. This ice cream is delicious, and it was so much easier to make than I thought it would be. And not to mention, that color is so cute. No food coloring or anything. That's just from the prickly pear syrup. Prickly pear fruit has a very unique flavor. If you haven't tried it before, it's very hard to describe. It's like, you know that earthy flavor that comes with like green teas? It's like a peach with an earthy flavor. I don't even know if that makes sense. I made a few batches to experiment with the consistency. I think 20 minutes was the sweet spot because this one I had for 30 minutes rotating in the ice cream maker. And it's a little bit more firm than the other batch was. The other batch was a little bit easier to scoop. The very first batch, I don't think I mixed for long enough. That one went to Emmeline. As soon as she's back from her honeymoon this week, I will go ahead and whip up another batch and have her try a different version and see what she thinks. I'm by no means a cook, and I started this specific series to try to get myself to experiment more with different kinds of foods and also just to expand my very limited cooking knowledge. I decided to make it in my parents' kitchen instead of in my bus because I thought it would be so much more difficult, and it was really easy. Not to mention, I got a really good deal on the ice cream maker I decided to use. This is the size of it. It just makes a single serving, so I have to make it just one batch at a time, but this is totally gonna fit in my bus. And on top of that, it takes a lot of electricity to heat and cool things, so getting an ice cream maker that you plug in and it cools the ice cream as you make it would take up a lot of electricity. But this is practically a giant ice cube. There's water in here, and so you freeze it overnight, and this keeps it cold while you're making it, which means that this machine takes up hardly any electricity, which is really exciting because that means that I'm going to bring this in my bus with me, and while I'm traveling, I can actually make ice cream on the road, which I'm really looking forward to. You should definitely try this recipe. I guess a lot of people didn't even know what prickly pear fruit was when I posted like a shorts version of me making lemonade out of the syrup. But the flavor is so good. So if you can get your hands on the syrup by ordering it or anything, you should definitely try it. Oh, it's so good. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Chasing Hannah Rose on a Chef Han episode, and I will see you next week. Bye.